Good morning, cubies and newbies. I am Sunshine, and this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. This is not a Rubik's Cube, this is a Minx. But this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. Formula A is 4 moves, Formula B is 8 moves, and you hold the cube as if it were, and look at the face as if it were a spreadsheet with rows and columns. And the arrows represent the single slice that you move. And Formula A is 4 moves, Formula B is 8 moves. A brings a color to the top, B moves 3 pieces around, and that is all you ever need to do to solve a Rubik's Cube. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I will be happy to answer any questions, but right now I've got this toy in my hand, so I'm going to Formula A and B works with this cube as well. I can solve it with only Formula A and Formula B. The difference between the two is that this one has no order of operations. You can do it in any order you want. I do corners, then edges, then centers because that's convenient for me. But for this one you have to do, because on this one the reason why there's no order of operation is because Formula B always only ever moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you ever want to do. But on this cube, because if one of the 2 columns is the center column, it has unintended consequences and it moves more than 3 pieces around. So if you do the tips of the stars first, the absolute edges, then you don't have, then the other pieces that it affected do not get displaced. So if you do the tips first and then any arms if it's a larger one, tips first, then arms, and then the rest of the cube, Formula B just moves 3 pieces around. So A and B is all you need for these, but it has an order of operations. So I'm gonna play go around. On this one, I do the, so I'm doing the stars first. This one has a lot more looking. Than the other one. Stars. Okay, let's solve the cube. Go. Do. Okay. Every cube that you have has 8 corners. And so we're going to start with the 8 corners. We work with 1 piece at a time, but working with 4 corners at a time. So did not mix it up correctly. All right. On the 3x3, we're used to working around the center, so I'm going to start with the 4x4. So we're pretending we don't know what the center is. You have 8 corners, pick a corner. That corner has 3 colors, pick a color. I've picked yellow. So yellow is my first corner, the first color that I'm going to do. So the first thing to do is Formula A brings the color to the top. So this piece that I've selected is correct because I've selected it, and we're going to make the rest of the cube match it. So, cat. All right, so this one has a yellow piece. This is the first piece I'm going to affect. So does this corner piece, we're ignoring everything with the corners, we're not looking at centers, we're not looking at edges, we're just looking at corners. Does this piece have my color on it? Does it have yellow on it? The answer is no. If the answer is yes, then Formula A will bring it to the top. If the answer is no, we look down below. And if there's a yellow, is there yellow somewhere here? And so if the answer is yes, then A will bring it to the top. If so, there's a yellow in one of these 2 spots, Formula A will bring it to the top. If there is not, then I rotate the bottom row by quarter turns until the answer is yes, because there's got to be, to bring a color to the top, it has to begin in one of these 2 places. So, looking at the face, we're using 1 row, bottom row, and 1 column, the right column. So, following the arrows, out, down, in, up. And is the yellow on top? Yes. Slide it out of the way to protect it and keep going. We're going to bring yellow to the top. No yellow here, no yellow here. So we change the bottom row until the answer is yes. And Formula A will bring it to the top. Now, since these are the 2 pieces that we're switching, we're going to move this piece away from the action. I'm going to move the space it wants to be down. I'm going to move the cube into that space and the cube in the space back up again. So it's out, down, in, up, until the cube lands on the top, until the color lands on the top. Slide it out of the way to keep going. Is there a yellow anywhere in this corner? No. Anywhere in this corner? No. Slide the row bottom by quarter turns until the answer is yes. And Formula A will bring it to the top. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. And it'll always be 5 or less, because 6 of this on the cube will bring you back to your start, whatever that was. So when the yellow's on top, we look at the sides to see if the sides match. At this point in time, either all of the sides will match, none of them will match, or one of them matches. This one, all of them matches, so we're going to set it to the side, and we're going to do the same thing on the other cubes. Find a yellow, the rest of the cube will match it. So does this cube have a yellow? The answer is no. So look below it. Does this cube have a yellow? The answer is no. So I rotate the bottom by quarter turns until the answer is yes. And at this point in time, yes, you could just muscle it up into place for the first 4 corners, but for the second 4 corners, you wouldn't want to mess with the bottom. So I teach both of them the same way. So Formula A will bring it to the top. Out, down, in, up. Yellow's on top. Slide it out of the way. Keep going. Is there a yellow anywhere here? No. Is there a yellow anywhere here? No. Slide the bottom by a quarter turn. Is there a yellow anywhere on this cube? Yes. So Formula A is going to bring my yellow to the top. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Keep going until my yellow is on top. When yellow is on top, slide it out of the way. Keep going. Is there a yellow somewhere here? No. Underneath it? No. Quarter turn? Still no. Quarter turn? Yes. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Keep going until the yellow is on top. And yellow is on top. Again, so we check to see. Orange does not equal blue, red does not equal orange, blue does not equal red. So this one has one side that matches. This one had all 4 sides matching. This one has one. Let's see what this one does. Okay, yellow's on top, slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going, no yellow there, no yellow there. There's a yellow. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Keep going until the yellow is on top. Slide it out of the way and affect this cube. No yellow, no yellow. Still no. Yes. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Until my yellow comes to the top. Yellow's on top, and one side matches. Okay, slide those out of the way. Let's do this one. Okay, here's a yellow. This one's also a yellow, so we'll start here. No yellow here, but there's a yellow there. So formula A, bottom row, right column, bottom row, right column, until the yellow comes to the top. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Formula A will bring my yellow to the top. Slide it out of the way. Affect this one. Yes, there's a yellow there, so formula A will bring it to the top. Okay, yellow's on the top. One side matches. Okay, so I said that either all of them will match, none of them will match, or one side will match. I was hoping that in doing 4 I would get one of them that doesn't match, so I'm going to manipulate this one. So this one is now one, okay, this side, now none of these colors match. We're going to pretend that that's the way it landed. So if one of them matches, we hold that, the side that matches facing away from you, and we proceed. But if none of them matches, it doesn't matter which way. If all of them match, you proceed to the next step. If none of them match, it doesn't matter how you hold it to begin with. You're going to do formula B and then A, and after you do that, one side will match. So then you'll know which way to hold it. So we're going to do this one, hold it any way, and then formula B is the top row and 2 columns, and because we're working on the corners, it's the top row and the outside columns. If you move other columns, other pieces move. So formula B, slide the top, and then the first up, reverse the top, second up, slide first down, back, second down. If you check out B, it's a commutator. Every other move, for every up there's a down, for every left there's a right. So it's a mathematical 0, and it only affects the pieces you want it to affect. Sorry for bumping my camera. Get y'all seasick. Okay, so I did formula B, and that moved some pieces around, and it looks like it messed it up, but it didn't. My yellow is still all on top. So formula A is going to bring my yellow back to the top. So out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Slide the top to protect it and affect this. Keep going with this piece. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Slide it out of the way to protect it and keep going. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Okay, and so now I check the sides again. As promised, one side matches. So when one side matches, we face it away from you. It's as headlights as if you're driving a car. And we're going to do B again, and then A to bring the yellow back to the top. And when I do this, all of the sides are going to match. It's going to it has the effect of switching these two, but really it's switching these 3. So these 2 are going to stay next to each other, and this one's going to go over there. Up, down, down, And then bring your yellow back to the top again with formula A. When yellow's on top, slide it out of the way, proceed with the next corner. And I'm not moving the cube, I'm only moving the top row, because if I keep my cube stable, then it's only going to affect the pieces I want, and the rest of the cube will remain the way it is, which right now doesn't matter, but as you get farther along, it is going to matter, because you don't want to mess up the pieces you've already done. So, out, down, it's affecting the top, front, right piece. And as promised, all of the corners now match. Let's do it to the next one. Green is the color that is the matching color, so it goes away. Formula B, slide up, slide down, and then A to bring your color back to the top. Slide it to protect it, keep going. Slide the top, keep going. And now, not only is your yellow on top, but the corners match to each other. So the first 4 corners are correct to each other. So these are correct. Let's do this one. Yellow's on top. We're checking. This is the green side matches, so it faces away. And formula B. Slide up, slide down, and formula A to bring your color back to the top. Slide to protect it, keep going. Slide the top to protect it, keep going. And when your yellow gets back to the top, now the first 4 corners are correct to each other. Okay, keep going. So these ones are all correct. These ones are all correct. So this one, green does not equal blue, red does not equal green, but orange equals orange. So the side that matches itself goes to the back away from you. Formula B, up, down, and A will bring your yellows back to the top. Slide to protect it and keep going with this one. Out, down, in, up. Slide out of the way to protect it. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. And now the yellow comes back to the top, and all of the corners are correct to each other. If you've just joined me, I'm Sunshine, and we're doing corners today. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. It works on every size cube, and I created it. I'm very proud of myself. Because it's the newest, unless you have an original method that's come out since 2020. This is the newest original method, and what makes it unique is that it works on every size Rubik's Cube, treats them all the exact same way, and A and B is all you need to learn. It's always A is a 1 row, 1 column, and if you're working with the corners, with the outside columns, that affects the corners. If you happen to be working with the inside column, with the absolute center, there would be this row and this column, then you would say out, down, in, up. Now at this point, you could have just muscled the center between the corners or worked around the center. Hello, first time chatter, hi. Hi, I'm Sunshine, and this is my method for solving Rubik's Cubes. Formula A is 4 moves, 1 row and 1 column. Oh, you followed me. Thank you. I don't see you. Hold on. You're saying hello, But when I look at my users in chat, I don't see you. So my computer is confused. My Twitch is confused. I will follow you back, because I like to do that. I don't know why I don't see you in my chat. I'm also a cuber. You use CFOP. CFOP is great. CFOP is great. I learned the cube back in the 80s. So this is the method that I learned. This was the beginner's method at the time. There was a few books that were all written to capitalize on the cube craze, but this is the one that was on sale at my 7-Eleven. So this is the one I used to learn. I bought the book, memorized it, and then when people saw me with the cube, they're like, hey, "Ooh, can you teach me?" And so that was the method that I taught. I have been teaching as long as I've been cubing, because lo and behold, if the bullies want to learn the cube, they have to stop bullying you. So that's me. The CPOP is great. That's the cross, the first two layers, then you orient and then you position. The thing with most of the methods out there, when you learn the 3x3, is that when you get to the 4x4, you have to, they're like, "Oh, what do I do now?" And so they're like, "Okay, now learn these algorithms, and then it looks like a 3x3, and then solve it as if it were a 3x3. Well, to me, that seems to be double solving it twice. Instead, I just put the pieces. I put the pieces where they go, and they match themselves up as I go along. And I am going to ask you, everyone always asks me, so I'm going to ask you, what's your average? My average, I'm not fast at the cube. My average is about 1.5 minutes. Considering that I learned by muscle memory, and the cube at the time did not turn well. Cubes back in the day were more like this. This is the Rubik's game from 1982. There you go. But it demonstrates what the cubes were like back in the day. There was no finger tricks. There was no cornering. The cubes had to be lined up absolutely correctly, and then in order to turn it. 8.7 seconds. Ah, anything faster than my eyes can follow is just magic. I just shake my head and wonder and enjoy. So put this back away. But so A and B is all. This. If you have any non-cuber friends who are like, "I don't want to spend the months and years that you've practiced to get good at it, and I'm not interested in speed, but just tell me the secret so I can solve the cube," this is it. This is the secret. Formula A, Formula B, all you need to move. All you need to do. If A brings a color to the top, B moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you ever need to do. What's fun about this method is it also does away with parodies. You do not need the parody algorithms that you learn if you have to go to 4 and above. This does away with it, because parodies are a lie. You don't have to work with parodies. So I've done the first 4 corners, and then I usually do I treat all of the cubes the exact same way. So since all of your cubes have corners, that's what I work on first. We've just done the yellow corners correct to each other. So now I'm going to take my yellows and put them face down and abandon them and ignore them. They're going to fend for themselves. And so I'm going to work on the second 4 corners now. And it doesn't matter if you've done like layer by layer or inside out or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you're working with the last 4 corners, this is still the way to do it. So, hello, another first time chat. Minix Pro. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I am Sunshine. Let's see if I can refresh my list. There you are. I'm Sunshine, and I created this method for solving Rubik's Cube. It's a brand new method. Well, it's not brand new. Hi. Yeah, I published it in 2020 on abcube.how, and there's a page, overview page on speedsolving.com. I do also have a YouTube, but the YouTube is not necessarily meant to be How long does it take you to make the cube with that method? I'm assuming you mean a 3x3, and if you're asking me, I'm not fast. I'm not a speed cuber. It takes me about 1.5 minutes. But I would love to have some speed cubers learn my method and try it and get back to me and tell me how fast they can do it, because I'm sure it'll be slightly slower than the method that you're best at right now. But I have found that when I do try to speed solve it, that it's about the same number of moves for me doing it this way as doing it fast, but working with this about 1.5 minutes. But because I'm not fast. So I would love to have you try it and get back to me and let me know how long it takes a speed cuber to do it using my method. So let's see, I put the yellow face down. We're abandoning the yellow, and opposite yellow is white. If you don't know that, I mean, you guys do, but if you don't know that, because I usually teach absolute non-cubers, I teach beginners. People will see me and say, "Ooh, can you really do that? That's big." And I'm like, "Oh, you can do this." And I'll put it in their hand, and I'll draw the formulas on the cube, and they'll make the moves, and they'll see that, oh, the corners, it happened. It works. It's doing it. Can I do blind? I cannot do blind. I can't hold what the cube looks like in my head in order to do that. I have never been fast. Does OLAP parity? Hi, by the way. Yes. With this method, Formula A, Formula B, that's all you need to solve every size Rubik's Cube. You notice I did not say anything about parities, because parities are lies. There is no such thing as a parity. It's a lie. There's always 3 pieces to move around. Formula B moves 3 pieces around. There'll always be 3 pieces to move around. If it looks like there's 2, because let me create a parity here and show you. If it ever looks like there's 2 pieces and only 2 pieces to move on the layer that you're working on, you are being deceived. It is a lie, and I will tell you why. Give me a second to create it here. You're more likely to get a parity if you work if you do the reduction method. Because a parity can be corner or edges, and so I do corners first and then edges. And if you find if you catch the parity, ABCube method is in every cube style. ABCube method solves every size Rubik's type cube. I can solve a 12 by 12 the exact same way I solve the 2 by 2. Okay, so it is a beginner's method for every type Rubik's Cube. You will even find me on the Wikipedia under the Professor's Cube. The Professor's Cube is the 5x5. If you go to Wikipedia, look at the Professor's Cube, scroll down to Solutions, I'm the last paragraph there, because this works, because this directly solves the 5x5. It doesn't, you don't have to learn, you don't have to treat the 5x5 like a 3x3 and solve it that way. It works on everything. And a parity is always a lie. Here's a parity. I created a parity. Okay. Doesn't matter what a parity looks like. It can look Speedsolving.com also has an article about the method. Yes, I am on speedsolving.com. I'm on YouTube. ABCube How is where the method actually exists. But be kind to me if you go there, because I didn't. I did each step as a vlog post instead of as an album, so that it's not. I don't have a concise index page, so I'm in the process of redoing that. So yeah, it's not. So here's a parody. It doesn't matter what the parody looks like. It can be on different corners. It can be, let's make this. Okay, it can be the parody can be opposite, the parody can be adjacent. It doesn't matter. Anytime there's only two pieces to move, there's always three pieces to move, and the third piece that you don't see is the piece that you don't see literally. It is the inside of the inner slice of the cube is a quarter turn off, and so if you rotate that slice that touches the parody 1/4 turn and then solve again, the parody is gone. So which is why I do the corners first. JPerm from YouTube has good tutorials. It does indeed. However, if you have a beginner, if you have a non-cuber, try me out. Show them JPerm, and then show them me, and see which is easier for them to understand, because this is just these two things are all you need to know. Just learn intuitive, F2L, and 2-look. Yes. But I take people who have oh, my brother can do the cube, but I've never been able to figure it out. When I'm teaching this cube, when I'm teaching this method, total teach time between 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and then they walk away with any size cube, knowing they can pick it up and put it down solved. So like I said, I'm not fast. I can do the cube in about 1.5 minutes, but I can teach this cube in 1.5 hours. Take a picture of the AB on my phone. That's all I need. And because it's, you know what, I don't know, because I'm not, I don't know, but I could solve it right now on my Go cube, and it would tell me what the move count is. I just don't know. But when I was creating it, I was comparing this method to, hey, thank you, hi, you followed me. I was comparing this method to the method that I had done before, and they seem to me to be comparable in number of turns. But depending on how fast how many algorithms you've memorized in your head, I'm sure you can. This is not the fewest number of turns and is not the fastest, but it does work on every size cube, and I believe it is the easiest to learn for a non-cuber. I don't make you learn. What other methods did I just this one? This is the way I learned. Back in 1981, this is the way I learned. It was the book that was for sale on my 7-Eleven, and so I bought it and memorized it, and then taught all my friends. It's the James G. Norris. This is before there was standardized notation. For example, in this book, R is counterclockwise, and minus is counterclockwise, and plus is clockwise. So I've learned a couple of methods over the course of my years, but so I would, as far as how does it compare to others, that's what I need you guys for. I'd love for you to take it and compare it to what you do first. Corners first, yes, because it treats every cube the exact same way, and every cube has 4 corners. I don't have to do it corners first. I can do it however I want to, because A and B will never mess up whatever else I've done before. So I could do centers first and then do the A and B. The only exception is if there's a parity, then to undo that parity, it takes a quarter turn to undo that parity, and so if I have done the centers first, I have to reset that row on the cube. So I do corners first because they all have corners, and I teach everybody the exact same way. And when you do the corners first, that's a good indicator. That's a good way to dictate what color each side is going to be. On a 3x3, we worked around the middle because the middle was the only piece that was unique unto itself and didn't move. But when you go to a void cube or a 4x4, that changes. Now, most cubers have memorized what the color pattern is and in what order, but if you're new, then and you haven't memorized that, or because not all cubes are colored standardized colors. Some knockoff cubes have different colors or purple on them. So when you do the corners first, it dictates what that what that cube's going to be. Are there many algorithms? There are A and B. Just A and B. A moves a piece to the top, B moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you ever need to do. A and B look familiar to me. That's because B is your average commutator that solves the last two edge pieces. It is the sexy move upside down. Yes. I did not I did not create the moves. I created the way to apply the moves to every cube and throw out parities. Yes, I did not create the moves. I created the method of using the moves to solve every size Rubik's cubes without parities and with only these two methods, these two formulas. So this cube had a parity. It was this parity. I make a quarter turn and I solve the edges again, and the parity disappears. Because there's always, okay, and the parity is gone because I did a quarter turn. So whatever your parity looks like, one single quarter turn undoes the parity, and you don't have to you don't have to memorize the long algorithms. Just A and B does every cube. Alrighty, followed me. I will follow you back because that is fun. So yeah, I am not a speed cuber. I don't. Depending on your definition of speed cuber, I'm very loose with my definition of speed cuber. So if you time yourself and race yourself to see if you can do better, you're a speed cuber. But my average is about 1.5 minutes. So yeah, all right. So I do the corners because you can have the parity can be a corner parity or an edge parity, but you cannot have a parity on the center pieces. Another thing that I learned is that when you take your cube apart and put it back together again. Back when all we had was the 3x3, we learned you have to put it back together again in a solid position, or you might end up with an unsolvable state. But and so that is true on the 3x3. And it is true on the corners and edges and the absolute center. But when you get a larger piece like this, larger cube like this, and it comes apart, when you're putting it back together again, the only pieces you have to put together again correctly are the ones that can only be correct in one position. So the corners have to be put correctly, the edges have to be put correctly, and the absolute center has to be put correctly. But for all of the other center pieces, you do not have to sort them by color. You only have to sort them by shape, because since each piece can be correct in one of 4 places, because of the mathematics of the cube, it cannot be, they cannot be put back in a way that doesn't solve. So when you're putting it back together again, you can save time by ignoring the colors of the center pieces and just putting it together by shape. Yes, yes. So yes, you already know what Formula A and Formula B are, but this I put them together to solve. I banished the parodies. Appreciate your input. Thank you for coming and joining me. And yeah, I would love it if you would be able to tell some of these other people what the move count is or how fast you can do it. Because my hands are just, I learned by muscle memory. And so even though I know that cubes can corner, and I know that you can just, nowadays you can just think a move and have it be done. So that is me. Thank you for joining me, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. I do teach. I am set up to teach in real time as well. I have a Zoom that I can send out. Can I do a solve? Sure. Which one do you want me to solve? All right. So I've done the yellow. All right. So I bring the second thing I do is I bring the corners, white corners, to the top. Formula A. This is not a 3x3. It's a 4. You want me to do the 3x3? Okay. So my yellow corners are done. I'm gonna do my white corners next. Okay. And Formula B moves 3 pieces around. Formula A brings them back to the top. Okay, in doing that, I did not, my yellows are still the same. So I check to see if the sides match. Either all of them do, none of them do, or one of them does. If the side matches, it goes facing away. And I do Formula B and A to bring the color back to the top. And like I said, my average teach time for a brand new beginner is about an hour and a half. So in solving the white corners, the yellow corners didn't do anything. I can place my absolute center. What is this method? This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. It works not just on the 3x3, but on every other cube as well. A and B is all you need. There's no parity algorithms. It is, I do it corners first, but you don't have to. I do corners first because every cube has 4 corners. And so I can start right in teaching everybody whatever cube they have with the 4 corners. And then the 4 corners dictate what color should be. So I've got my corners done. The next step I do is opposite edges. So since I was working on yellow and white, I keep my yellow and white left and right. So I'm looking for pieces in the middle that have a yellow or white so I can throw them out to the side. This has a yellow, so I bring the corners to match the front, and it's going in this direction. So I'm using the top row and 2 columns, and the 2 columns that I'm using are where the cube is to begin with and where the cube wants to land. So this cube wants to go over here. So this is my first column and this is my second column. I start by moving it away, first up, back, second up, away, down, back, second down, and that cube is placed. I look for any other white or yellow in the middle. Hold it so that it's on top. Yellow and white are left and right. I bring the corners to match the front. I determine its direction. So this is my first column, this is my second column. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Thank you. Someone's going to try it and get back to me with their results. Okay, so here's a white that doesn't belong in the middle. Bring the corners to match the front. Going in this direction. Away, first up, back, second up, away, down, back, second down. Bring the corners to match the front, determine its direction, move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. That's one new. Thank you for joining me. I am Sunshine, and this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. My clientele is people who think they can't do the Rubik's Cube. Think that they've tried and haven't been able to figure it. It's too big for them. They can't do it. Their brother can do it, but they've never figured it out. Whatever. A and B is all you need to solve every Rubik's Cube. Formula A is 4 moves. It's used to bring, it's 1 row, 1 column. It's used to bring the color to the top. Oh, I gotta finish this. Formula B is 4 moves, and it's used to move 3 pieces around. And so those 3, it's 1 row and 2 columns. Corners match the front. The 2 columns are where the cube wants to end up and where the cube is now. So if I'm working on this cube to place it, the B's are, this is my first row, this is my second row. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. This cube is placed, and I look for another piece that's white or yellow to move to the outside. I want the white or yellow to be on top. I bring the corners to match the front. I determine which direction it's going, and I start by moving away. First up is where it's going to land, back. Second up is where it began, and then down and down. Every other move is horizontal. Every horizontal is the reverse of the one before it. Here's another one. Bring the corners to match the front. Yellow and white are left and right. It's going in this direction. So this is my first row column. This is my second column. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Looking for any more yellow or whites in the middle. Bring the corners to match the front. Determine its direction and move it away. First up, back, second up, away, down, back, second down. No more whites or yellows in the middle, so I check to see if the sides are done, and they either are or they are not. If some of them are incorrectly placed, then I will throw a garbage piece from the middle into that spot, so to move it to the middle so I can place it. So when the opposite edges are done, I put my yellow face down. I'm going to displace an edge piece so that I can start places, because Formula B moves from the top front to the side, so I'm going to move one of these to the top front so I can work on it. So white is down for the rest of forever, and I'm going to put this piece into here so I can work with it when it's on top. So again, just Formula B, and then I find a piece on top that doesn't belong there. I rotate the cube so the corners match the front. I determine which direction it's going. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay. Corners match the front. Determine its direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Okay. Yellow came back to the top, so I check to see if the sides are correct. This one's correct, this one's correct, this one's not. So I'll throw a piece down into that space so I can move it to the top and keep going. Okay. Corners match the front. determine its direction. That's my first column. Second column, away up, in up, away down, in down. Corners match the front, determine its direction, up, up, down, down. Okay, and so yes, A moves a piece to the top, B moves 3 pieces around, and there's always 3 pieces to move around because a parity is a lie. There is no parity. A parity is where it looks like there's 2 pieces and only 2 pieces on a particular layer, and they need to be interchanged, not flipped, but interchanged, and there are always 3 pieces. And so the third piece that you can't see is the piece that you can't see. If you rotate the column, the layer that touches that parity 1/4 turn, either direction, and then solve in that state, the parity has dissolved itself. All right, let's get caught up in reading. It's beginner's method, corners first, not classical. Is there a roux L4E at the end? That's just roux, but without as many algorithms. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I did not, I did not create the movements. You just like you don't create, you can't copyright a list of ingredients. But I did create the way of putting it together so that it solves every size Rubik's Cube with no parities, just A and B. And like I said, you can check out my bio. You can find me on abcube.how is where the method actually is. I'm redoing it, so be kind if you if you go there, because I made my steps vlogs instead of galleries, so it doesn't have a pretty index yet. I'm in the process of redoing that. And to me, okay, so if you've just joined me, I'm Sunshine, and I'm going to 1 minute 53 seconds. First solve slow. Well, anytime you start to you learn a new method, your speed goes down until you get comfortable with that method. But thank you for that feedback. Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. So yeah, with a minor adaptation, it also will solve the 3x3x9, the Whittian 3x9. That's one of my favorite cubes. It also, with adaptation, solves the Minx as well. You can only, the difference between the cube and the Minx is that this has no order of operations. You can do it in whatever order you want. This one, if Formula B, if one of the columns incorporates the center slice, it has unintended consequences and moves more than just 3 pieces. So if you do the star tips of the star first, and then the rest of the cube, then you don't have to redo anything that you've already done. Okay, parities. Let's talk about parities. A parity is where it looks like there's 2 pieces that need to be interchanged and only 2 pieces that need to be interchanged. That is a lie, because there's always 3 pieces to move. And if it looks like there's only 2 pieces to move, the reason why it looks that is the third piece that you can't see is literally the piece that you can't see. It is the slice that touches that parity. And so if whatever your parity looks like, whether it's opposites or adjacents or different faces, it doesn't matter. If you have a parity, then if you make a 1 single quarter turn on the layer that touches that parity and then solve in that state, the parity has dissolved itself and gone away. So I don't teach the parity. When I that's why I do corners and then edges, because when I see the parity, I just rotate. I just do my quarter turn, and the parity dissolves itself, and I don't have to. If I do the centers first, and then I do the quarter turn, then I have to reset those centers. This thing can't solve parity. The L4E is kind of a problem. I don't know what the L4E is. This is center. Yeah, this cube undoes a parity by a single quarter turn, and that's the parity is no more. So you don't have to learn parity algorithms. Oh, the last 4 edges. L4E. I bring pieces to the top. I move 3 pieces around. That's all I ever do. All right. Thank you for joining me. This is fun. I love chatting is so much more fun than monologuing. So feel free to check me out. Get back to me. Tell me what you like and don't like, because this is not, like I said, this is not a speed solve method. It is not a fewest moves method. It's lousy with regrips, but because I don't make my newbies learn the standardized notations. I don't make them learn any algorithm, anything longer than just these 4 moves. And even though B is 8 moves, because you do it over and over and over again, it's easy to remember. So like I said, when I teach this method, total teach time between 1.5 hours and 2 hours, and then everybody that I've taught can pick up any size cube and put it down solved. So thank you guys. Thank you for following me. You guys are just awesome. Okay, I think I followed back everybody who followed me. Yep. All right. I appreciate you guys. I'm here every weekday morning. I usually go step by step. Like on Mondays, I'll do the corners. On Tuesdays, I'll do the edges. On Wednesdays, I'll do, I go through a step by step at a time. But I'm here to play on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings. So do please come back and follow me. Do please come back and play with me again. And I will see you guys. I will be back here tomorrow. Hope to see you guys. Bye.